Happy New Year! I've gotten to the point with my strange manga I find videos where pretty much every single one starts with me going, hey, it's been a while since my last one, but this time, wow, it's been a while since my last one. I've been a little busy, so sorry about that. Regardless, my name is Ash, and Strange Manga I Find is a small series I do where I just talk about strange manga that I come across. That doesn't necessarily mean that a strange manga is inherently bad or inherently good, it could be anything. So, with an open mind, let's get things started with A Monster in Cat's Clothing by Shazu. This one happens to star a bum named Hoshimiya that's constantly falling out of relationships because he just keeps cheating on his girlfriends, even though he swears for the life of him that he doesn't cheat on his girlfriends. Chapter 1 starts with him falling out of yet another relationship before bouncing back and immediately getting with a new girl who just happens to be with him for his money. But as fate would have it, it turned out his cat, Miko, is a bakeneko, which is a yokai or a monster cat, and it scares away this gold digger. Miko is a bit of a yandere, which I'm not sure is accurate to how cats behave IRL. I can only speak on behalf of birds, and my birds are pretty tsundere if anything. Higuruma cries himself to sleep before awakening the next day to meet up with a classmate who happens to give him a Mickey Mouse keychain while Miko follows him around. It seems as though this classmate has a crush on Hoshiguma, and I think it's kinda cute, but she might want to reconsider because Horikoshi is a freak that enjoys huffing cat fumes. Miko, being jealous by this recent interaction, returns the favor by ripping up his keychain and also giving Hobama a hickey. Yeah, this one is just okay. Whenever Miko is in her bakeneko form, it just reminds me of Hanakawa Black from the Monogatari series. We got 2 new seasons announced to that, by the way, so I'm very happy. The art in general is fine, nothing crazy, but it's appealing and the paneling works. I enjoyed the shocked facial expressions that were present throughout the first chapter, good stuff there. Also, having the protagonist be a college-age student is pretty good too. It's a nice break from the high school stuff I've been reading lately. There's only 2 chapters here, the rest are just like translated doodles from the author's Twitter page. And it looks as though the manga has been on hiatus since 2020, but the mangaka is still uploading drawings and other manga to their Twitter, so maybe it'll come back to this someday. It's hard to give a fair assessment off of just 2 short chapters, but conceptually it's fairly unique, I'll give it that. It may have been like 4 years since the last chapter dropped, but then again, I'm a Hunter x Hunter fan, so I have no problem with waiting, and I hope the mangaka is doing well. Next up on the agenda, we got Shuumatsu Kimito by Ru Won. Gourmet Boys Love. 2 people peacefully enjoying meals together against the backdrop of a mysterious zombie outbreak. Shuhei is consumed by the promise he made with Tomoya back in middle school. Would you eat me? This one is a cute boys love that takes place during the zombie apocalypse. The combination of horror and boys love reminds me of other boys love, like The Summer Hikaru Died or Jujutsu Kaisen. Shu and Tomoya are just 2 bros hanging out in a small apartment following the collapse of society, and the food they make looks really good. This is like the gay version of She Loves to Cook and She Loves to Eat, although that one takes place in much less dire times. There's a great moment when the 2 are enjoying a really nice meal together while being serenaded by a man getting attacked outside. You can simulate a similar sensation by listening to Death Grips while cooking. I like that the couple has black and white hair. That seems to be like a reoccurring trope in yaoi. The manga itself has direct parallels with the COVID pandemic, with the unknown nature of the disease, people being asked to stay home, etc. Those infected aren't gunned down, but they're instead sent to a special facility where they're isolated. Tomoya's grandma passing away seems to be referencing the increased mortality rate in the elderly as well. Shu is a college student studying ethnology, so it could make for interesting discussion as to whether or not zombies have rights. Or they can do what Shaun of the Dead did and put them on a game show. There's a part where Tomoya goes, "Hey Shu, when I die, can you eat my body?" And Shu is like, "Sure, man." And like, I don't know what it is about yaoi and yuri that brings out the cannibal in people. Some people find it like romantic, but I just see it as like hungry fellas fighting over food. Speaking of, the boys kind of wax philosophy about why zombies even bother eating. They conclude that it has to do with zombies wanting to reclaim their lost souls, as eating in it of itself is taking a life. Eating a chicken has you taken the chicken's life, eating a plant has you taken the plant's life, and you do that in order to sustain yourself and for you to keep living. Anyways, they followed that up by going food shopping. It's a fun manga so far. There's only 3 chapters out, but I enjoy it conceptually a lot, and it's a very nice, creative reflection on the COVID pandemic. We're coming up on the 4-year anniversary of lockdowns being implemented, and their effects are still being felt to this day. In my case, it sucks that I missed out on my college graduation because it happened in May of 2020, but look, at the end of the day, we go to bed and life keeps going on. Anyways, in the 3rd chapter, they also make fried chicken. This one's cute. I think it's a really cute boys love manga. I like the philosophical angle, and I want to see where it goes from here. It's both a self-reflecting and self-indulging manga. Well, in terms of self-indulging, I mean like the food. But it rocks, and I want to definitely read this more in the future. On the other end of the spectrum, we got Tottemo Yasashi Amayan by Chilt. Amae-chan is so sweet, kind, tender, she makes me feel so happy. And then there's me, the disappointment of a manga artist. But I will not be discouraged as long as I have Amae-chan with me. Oh, that's not good. One thing to keep in mind is this manga has been machine translated, so not all the intent/meaning has been carried over, so keep that in mind in case you want to read this one. Anyways, this manga is about a grown man who's in love with an elementary school student. As of when the manga takes place, Amae-chan is a nice 11 years old, and the protagonist is trying to date her within the next 2 to 3 years. Sorry, did I say date? I meant marry. I wonder if the main character is meant to be like a self-insert for the author, as they don't have any defining facial elements, which is common in like self-indulgent manga, and also their art gets blasted on Twitter. I'm looking through their other manga, and it seems as though they're repeatedly involved in works that involve demons or children. But you know what, like I'm looking through their Pixiv, right, and their Twitter, and their art isn't really that bad. Hey, wait a minute, they're followed by Yuto Sano. That's the person behind Goku Rakugai, and that one is really good. I'm getting distracted. Back to Monogatari, we have a nameless main character laying on the floor while this 11-year-old pampers him. Now, I don't care that this has been machine translated because this line right here easily could have been ripped off from other seinen series like Berserk or Non-Non-Biyori. It doesn't matter if you're an adult or an elementary school student. There are times when even an adult wants to be pampered by an elementary school student. Afterwards, he calls her mama and she calls him a baby. Now look, I know what we're all thinking, but let me be real. I don't know what you guys were doing, but when I was 11, I was playing Super Mario Galaxy 2. I wasn't doing any of this, so I don't really think this manga is realistic in that regard. There's 27 chapters of this out, and while publication is finished, I don't think the ending has been translated yet. The last chapter has them going to a zoo, but it's not much of an ending. I don't feel compelled enough to read through the entirety of what's currently available, but there's some things to note that'll make you go, alright man. Amae-chan has a friend that's like, hey, aren't you a grown-ass man? And he's like, I guess. And she tries to encourage Amae-chan to scold him, resulting in this panel, which isn't very good. She also knees him in the nuts. And it sucks, because like every single chapter this is so formulaic. It's basically the author going, oh, I'm so useless, I can't do anything. And then Amae-chan shows up and she's like, hey man, what's up? And he's like, oh my god, I love you, Amae-chan. And it keeps repeating. It's like Rent-A-Girlfriend for Epstein disciples. I gotta stop reading this, man. There's a chapter where her friend is like, alright, Amae-chan, you cannot pamper this grown-ass man for a whole day. And Amae-chan's like, don't worry, I'm gonna just rub my butt in his face. Just, move on to the last manga. And last, but certainly not least, we have Biden vs. Obama by Captain Tai. And as you can probably guess from the lack of description and from the title, this one is a battle manga starring the strongest president of today versus the strongest president of 16 years ago. I also think the author of this one just stole backgrounds and drew over them, but it's fine. It'll probably get fixed in the Taco Bond releases. English doesn't seem to be the creator's first language, as there's spelling and grammatical mistakes throughout these chapters, but I won't hold it against them. English is an annoying language to learn, especially if you're a non-native speaker. To give a brief summary, Obama is chilling on the weekend as usual before a blast shakes him to his core, only to be blocked by his Obama barrier. Turns out, it was Joe Biden blasting Obama in an attempt to catch him off guard, a rather sneaky maneuver, if I must add. The first chapter ends with Obama and Biden engaged in combat, with the sketchy art reminding me a lot of Dogfella. Just like Dogfella, this series has Chainsaw Man pacing, as by chapter 2, we revealed that Optimus Prime was the sensei of Obama, Trump, and Biden, all tasked for making America great someday. The way Biden and Obama are drawn seems to be heavily inspired by series like JoJo, from the angular face shapes to the prominent lips and eyes, and it's made further evident with the introduction of Mini-Bama, which is an ability of Obama's stand, Gooby Gooby. She looks like a mosquito, and Biden has telepathy it seems, as he's able to read Obama's mind and understand that the Mini-Bama will explode whenever they're removed. Mini-Bama explodes, but Biden survives and is able to use his curse technique to cut Obama in half off-screen. Nah, I'm just kidding, they actually show this fight. What ensues is a tense battle with Obama firing off an Obama-Hameha and Biden doing his signature blast. But then we have Kamala Harris, waiting for both of them to lose, and this is when I was just like, okay, come on now. See, in her reveal panel, she looks fine, sure, but then the next chapter, it genuinely looks like the artist used AI, and that makes me sad. You already went this far, so why cheap out now? It's really evident here where the shadowy silhouette was clearly filled in with like a Microsoft Paint bucket tool, which is why you can see like these white spots. But then Kamala has like defined screen tones for her hair. Like, come on, Captain Ty, you can do better. And look, you might be saying, Ash, why are you taking a manga called Biden vs. Obama seriously? And it's because I take all manga seriously. Even if this one was made as a joke, and conceptually is a joke, I still want to give it a fair critique. I don't think the creators of any of the manga I ever talk about will ever see my videos, but if they do, I want them to know that I have genuine things to say and genuine critique to give. I found the author's Twitter here, and while it's not safe for work, I'm still able to show off some of his pieces here. And they're not bad, but it also did confirm that he's using AI for the shading on some pieces. I hope with time he's able to find comfort in his art style, and create something that he feels genuinely proud of. Anyways, Trump shows up in chapter 6, and he has instant transmission, which is pretty cool. He also gives Obama a senzu bean, which turns Obama into a woman. And with her newfound power, Obama and Trump continue to fight Biden, but he's proving to be way too tough. That is, until Kamala unleashes her secret creation, a stand meant to fight presidents, and it goes straight for Biden, turning him into a little kid. It all seems dire, but then, Trump launches his domain expansion, and like Gege, the author of this manga decides to throw in a flashback following a cliffhanger. Here we see... Alright, man. He's fighting this funny Valentine looking guy here, and he also has a Lola Bunny Yakuza tattoo. There's a lot to unpack here. Oh, and I lied, that wasn't Funny Valentine, that was actually Oppenheimer. Trump inherited Oppenheimer's curse technique, and with a binding vow, unleashes it and wipes out the surrounding area, leaving Kamala to become president. I like that the author just traced, or at the very least, heavily referenced Trump's mugshot here. At this point, I'm just mentally checked out. I'm like, sure man, yeah, have Trump train with the Grim Reaper, have Obama become a Twitch streamer, have Biden go through a Kagurabachi phase, whatever man. Morgan Freeman is here, and Skylar White's here, and she's a black mage. There's actually a kinda cool part where Biden confronts his Dark Biden form, and it's a cool skeleton samurai that has a Bankai. Biden's able to defeat the Bankai and also crack the mood in half, and that's also the last chapter that's out. Look, it's not the worst thing I've ever read. I found that when it comes to these erotic manga, it's genuinely best to approach them with sincerity, because unless it's known that these are like completely machine created with no ounce of human input, like genuine slop, all of these are kind of made by living, breathing human beings like you and me, so as such, I want to critique them fairly. Even if I don't like it myself, I can see that everything has merit, so I try to give like the manga I talk about, no matter how bad they can be, I try to give them some form of credit. I hope Captain Tai is able to continue their art career, either via this manga or some other creative outlet, because they seem to have some basic understanding of comic pacing and paneling, it just needs refining is all. Dogfella started as a joke and evolved into something pretty good, so maybe this series can follow a similar path, but really only time will tell. And that's about all the manga I want to talk about this video. Sorry that it's been so long since my last traditionally edited video. I've been doing a lot of videos that's just been me talking with gameplay footage and sometimes a few photos here and there. Yeah, nah, I've been really busy these past few months. I was gonna do another one of those type of videos where I talk about my favorite things from 2023. I'm gonna do that later. Just right now, I'm like, it's been way too long since my last manga video, so I want to do that real quick. Thank you guys for your patience, and thank you guys for your support too. My Kobeni and my Gege Akutami videos have blown up recently, and it's like kind of insane. I don't expect this video to do crazy, but it's fine, you know, I'm having fun doing these. Plus, I always get really nice comments telling me, hey, you know, I checked out this manga because of you, I'm really grateful, and that makes me really happy too. I love you all, and I have plans for my next few videos, so look out for those. I'm gonna read off my patrons, then close this one out. Big thank you to Sammy Whammy, Chancellor17, Tremaine Jenkins, Expert Student 64, Roxonal, Trapper McGee, Bro Sound Effect, Smog, Dominoes, Arachnes S2, Folkpunk, Megadodan, Sumene, Saragnal, Big Boo Goddamn, Polaroid Jack, Sour Lolita, Borpulus Runny, Real Sethery, Loose, Vento, Sea Crowns, Kiri, V, Andrew, Braystar, Amatiramisu, Logan, Sianaru, and Jiva. So as for my next videos, I think the next one will be my favorite things of 2023, but the one following that will be a video where I talk about 3 of the underrated manga in Shonen Jump that I think deserve a lot more praise. You might know what they are because I talk about them every now and then, but if not, stay tuned. See you guys then.